Dr. Koh Poh Koon.
Technological advancements have had a profound impact on industries and businesses. Although change can be disruptive, it also presents many opportunities. Some companies have already moved to transform their businesses and are today enjoying the fruits of transformation. We want to help more companies seize these opportunities. The government is ready to support them with initiatives customized to each sector. Some sectors I would like to highlight are manufacturing and wholesale trade sectors. Mr. Chairman, may I have a permission to display some slides on the LED screens later on in my speech, please? Thank you, sir. Let me first address the questions from Mr. Sito Ee Pin and Ms. Cheryl Chan on what the government is doing to build a globally competitive manufacturing sector. Manufacturing remains an important pillar of Singapore's economy. The sector accounts for around 20% of our GDP and around 14% of our total employment. Today, we have a diversified portfolio of high value-added manufacturing industries. Our products are exported to many markets globally. In 2017, Singapore's manufacturing sector saw strong growth, and the sector continued to expand at a robust pace in January 2018. However, the global manufacturing landscape is evolving. We are witnessing rapid technological developments in areas such as robotics and the industrial Internet of Things. This presents two opportunities. One is to establish Singapore as a globally competitive advanced manufacturing hub. This will help attract strategic investments and anchor our position in the global value chains. Two is for our companies to gain a competitive advantage by prioritizing three areas. One, undertaking innovation. Two, adopting technologies. And three, preparing their workers to thrive in tomorrow's workforce. I'd like to explain the rest of these 3 points in greater detail in Mandarin. Sir, may I now speak in Mandarin, please? Thank you. 我在英语发言中提到，我们必须通过3方面，让本地企业更具竞争的优势。第一，积极创新；第二，采纳科技；以及第三，培训员工，为未来的工作环境做好准备。首先，提高创新能力。创新是区分自己和竞争对手的关键，这包括创造新产品、寻找新商机，以及研发更具有效的方式来优化资源。有些制造业领域，如精密工程业，已经意识到了创新的必要。精密工程企业于2016年所投入研发的资金，与2015年同比增加了50%，这是可喜的进展。中小型企业若要提高创新能力，其中一个方式是参与新加坡科技研究局，也就是 A-Star 成长企业科技提升计划旗下的商业与科技运作蓝图 Operations and Technology Road Mapping， 简称 OTR。通过商业与科技运作蓝图 OTR， 中小型企业可以在 A-Star 的指导下，制定长期增长战略，以实现新产品或新服务。这个项目也为中小型企业提供商业的战略，以评估消费者的需求、挑战和潜在的市场需求。截至2017年11月，已经有超过300间企业在 A-Star 的 OTR 下受惠。Plasmotech 就是其中一间受惠的企业。Plasmotech 原本只专注于为电子业制造连接器和电容器，但是通过这个商业与科技运作蓝图 ，Plasmotech 在汽车市场发现了商机。Plasmotech 在设备和基础设施方面投入了约170万元，聘请了一组工程师研发汽车的部件，并于2016年 进军这个新的市场。在这之后 ，Plasmotech 的销售额同比增长了20%。我们希望有更多企业像 Plasmotech 一样，看到创新的价值，开始行动，并且能够获得同样的效益。为了让更多的企业从商业与科技运作蓝图之中受惠 ，A-Star 将连同其他的政府机构以及商会与商团，携手推出联营式商业与科技运作蓝图，也就是 Consortium OTR。这样的方式会把同一个领域的企业聚集在一起，并为他们所面对的共同难题一起制定技术路线图。参与的企业便可利用这个共享路线图作为他们的基础，根据个别企业的需求，更进一步的去制定适合自身的解决方案。这样的安排能让更多的公司从业界专家和科技研发人员等共享资源中更加受惠。首个联营式的商业与科技运作蓝图将集合16间食品制造业，包括奇祥食品集团 （Keesong Group） 和奋发有限公司 （Poon Private Limited） 一起讨论提高生产力的科技与技术。这其中包括生产区控制系统和减少食物浪费的货架期监测方案。第二是采纳科技，除了提高创新能力，中小型企业还可以采纳制造业科技来优化他们的运作流程和资源，这将确保企业保持竞争力，从外在的需求增长中受惠。就像电子业和精密工程业在2017年取得强劲的生产力增长，在这2个领域里，每名员工的实际附加值分别增加了35%和15%。为协助企业采纳科技，我们推出了许多援助的计划，有意部署大规模自动化方案以提高生产力的企业，可采用标星局提供的自动化补助配套 （Automation Support Package）， 简称 ASP。这个配套所包含的津贴和税务及贷款优惠等，都可以用于抵消采纳科技的成本。消防设备制造商凌杰公司 （Linjack） 是其中一家申请这个自动化补助配套的本地企业。凌杰公司以前将近90%的制作过程必须依赖人工操作。申请自动化补助配套后，公司引进了新设备，将抛光、焊接和测试泄漏等工作自动化。凌杰公司在生产效率方面呢，因此提高了将近40%，并计划扩大他们的生产能力。他们也在考虑制造更高附加值的产品，并定下目标，争取让今年的收入增加达到20%。在寻找现成科技解决方案的企业，可以利用由 A-Star 和资讯通信媒体发展局 IMDA 共同创建的企业科技库 Tech Depot。这个设在标星局企业通网站 SME Portal 的网络平台，列明了一系列企业可以即刻采用的生产力方案，涵盖范围包括库存和资产追踪以及供应链管理。自去年4月推出以来，企业科技库已经推出45个科技解决方案，并有超过1000间企业受惠。第三是确保员工做好准备，在检讨策略和计划的同时，企业也应该考虑到员工的提升，并带动员工一起转型。我们强烈鼓励企业的业主主动地为员工提供培训，以确保他们为未来的变化做好充分的准备。另一家公司优利精密工程有限公司 （innovate） 是运用精密工程 生产医疗器械和生物科学产品的一家本地大型企业。这间公司不仅开始了业务方面的转型，它也确保员工为转型做好他们的准备。59岁的严光明是公司的高级质量工程师，他的工作原本非常依赖人工劳动，需要耗费大量的时间和精力来收集数据。今天 innovate 在工作流程中采用了数码软件后，数据的收集已经日益的自动化。这些变化使公司可以重新部署他们的员工，让他们负责数据分析等更高附加值的职务。为了让员工适应转变 ，innovate 组织了一个团队，提供新软件和新科技的培训。这个团队还在实行期间提供在职的援助，确保工程师和技术人员能够胜任工作，并有更加有信心地操作他们的软件。严光明很感激数码化转型，让他的工作变得更省力、更得心应手。他不再需要用到人工去收集他的数据，而是从数码设备就可以轻松的得到所需要的数据。他现在能够更专注的用这些数据进行分析及设计解决的方案。So in English now. Over time, as our companies continue to improve their innovation capacity, adopt technologies, and prepare their workforce, we will build up a strong local manufacturing base to support our vision of being an advanced manufacturing hub. While I have spoken about the many schemes available to support companies, I understand that some companies are unsure how and where to begin their transformation journey. And this is a point that Mr. Sito Ipin raised earlier. But as a first step, companies can use EDB's Singapore Smart Industry Readiness Index, SSIRI. This tool will help companies to self-diagnose the future readiness of their organizational processes, technology usage, and workforce skills. It is designed to be used by companies of all sizes, in all sectors, to determine how they can implement smart manufacturing operations. I encourage companies to sign up for the SSIRI workshops conducted by EDB to find out more. I will also speak more about the SSIRI later this month at the Internet of Things Asia Conference 2018. I would now like to speak about the government's efforts to maintain Singapore's competitiveness as a global trade hub. Today, wholesale trade is a key contributor to Singapore's economy, accounting for about 16% of our GDP. However, the wholesale trade sector is lesser known to many Singaporeans. Most have the misconception and the misperception that it involves working in warehouses. Actually, it is far from that. It is one of our economy's largest and most diverse sectors, comprising more than 35,000 firms, engaging in business-to-business transactions for a wide range of goods, ranging from household goods and consumer electronics to food items and commodities. The sector is also external-facing, with over 80% of the sales derived from international trade. This international aspect puts wholesale trade sector in a prime position for growth over the next decade. Across Asia, rapid urbanization, rapid population growth, and rising consumerism are expected to fuel regional demand for goods like food, fuel, and smart devices. To help local enterprises unlock these opportunities, the government has worked to deepen our trade connections with ASEAN. In September 2017, Singapore Logistics Association, SLA, and Global E-Trade Services, GETS, launched Hive, a regional B2B trade facilitation platform. Hive supports companies in meeting cross-border trade compliance requirements for over 50 customs authorities in ASEAN and around the world. This allows companies to enjoy greater process efficiencies and seamless clearance, since Hive will be linked to Singapore customs. Preliminary response has been encouraging. In a mere 5 months, over 2,300 companies have joined the platform, with close to 4,000 transactions completed. Yet we must be prepared for how technological advancements, such as blockchain technology and data analytics, could revolutionize the way global trade is conducted in the coming years. To help strengthen our trade ecosystem, we will establish the Trade Infrastructure Development Fund, TIDF. We'll do it this year. This new fund, the TIDF, will be offered as a grant to support companies which are looking to develop B2B e-marketplaces and innovative trade solutions. The TIDF will also support initiatives to create a wider spectrum of financial value-added service offerings. These efforts will help support our wholesale trade companies to scale up and become more productive and innovative. So even as our industries and companies transform and seize opportunities, we want our people to benefit from the good jobs that will be created. Senior Parliamentary Secretary, Ms. Lau Yen Ling, will speak in greater detail about how our people can thrive in this new environment. Much of my speech earlier has focused on transforming and rejuvenating existing industries to future-proof Singapore's economy. I would now like to address another part of the equation, and that is how the government is working to nurture startups as catalysts of growth. Mr. Charles Chong.
Order, may I move the extension, please? Pursuant to Standing Order number 2(5)D, I propose to extend the time of this day's committee sitting for a period of up to 30 minutes. Dr. Koh, please proceed.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Charles Chong asked about the government's efforts to build up our startup landscape. Now, startups play an important role in our economy. They help to boost Singapore's economic competitiveness through innovative ideas and disruption of existing industries, thus contributing to sector development and transformation. In recent years, we have seen good growth in the number, the contribution, and the quality of our startups. The total number of startups in Singapore grew from 22,000 in 2003 to 43,000 in 2016. They contributed 7.7 billion Singapore dollars, or 1.9% of GDP in 2016. In particular, the number of tech startups increased from 2,800 to 4,300 in the same time period, employing about 24,000 workers in 2016. Startups in Singapore are also attracting a good level of investor interest and funding. In January 2018, local logistics startup Ninja Van raised over $87 million in its Series C funding round, while late last year, homegrown gaming company Razer raised $528 million in its initial public offering in Hong Kong. These success stories are certainly not one-off. In Singapore, the venture funding activity and deal flows have multiplied significantly from 80 deals worth US $136.4 million in 2012 to 174 deals worth $1.37 billion in 2017. These developments reflect the growing quality and potential of startups here. This shows that our moves to distinguish Singapore's startup scene through establishing a strong brand identity, strengthening our talent attraction efforts, and enhancing funding support are bearing fruit. Startup SG was launched in March 2017 as a single brand identity to showcase Singapore's startup ecosystem to the world. It also unified the government startup support schemes, making it easier for entrepreneurs to apply for support. Spring leveraged the Startup SG brand to organize the inaugural Startup SG competition, Slingshot at Switch, in September 2017. The competition attracted more than 900 teams from over 30 countries. Media coverage of the competition and the Startup SG brand was extensive and helped to increase global mindshare of Singapore as a startup hub. Second, to improve Singapore's attractiveness to global entrepreneurial talent, we enhanced Enterpass scheme's entry and renewal criteria in August 2017. Since then, the number of applications has more than doubled. This is an encouraging development. Given Singapore's small size, we need to remain open to promising global entrepreneurial talent who can contribute to the vibrancy of our startup scene. This will help to seed future growth and good local jobs. In 2016, foreign startups generated a total of 9,800 local jobs. As a percentage share of the total employment generated by foreign startups, local jobs took up 54%, which constitutes an increase from 50% in 2012. In one example, after Dr. Bert Groban's application for the Enterprise was supported in 2015, he incorporated a startup here called Budding Innovations. His company specializes in commercialization of technology by working with companies to develop go-to-market strategies. Budding Innovations has since created 5 local jobs, of which 3 are PMETs. Third, to strengthen funding support, we raised the cap and proportion of government's co-investment funding share under the Startup SG Equity last year. This aims to catalyze private sector investment into promising Singapore-based technology startups with intellectual property and global market potential. Building on this, Spring appointed 9 co-investment partners last month, with the goal of further catalyzing over $200 million into more deep tech startups in the growth sectors of advanced manufacturing and engineering, health and biomedical sciences, and urban solutions and sustainability. Beyond funding, the deep tech startups will stand to benefit from the various resources and know-how provided by these co-investment partners, which had been chosen for their expertise in the respective sectors. This includes help with technology translation, prototyping and manufacturing facilities, and strategic networks for development and commercialization, thus working to shorten the startups' learning curves and improving their chances of success. To scale up, startups should seek out growth opportunities both locally and abroad. Startups can tap on partner networks, which we have put in place. Last year, the government worked closely with partners like the Action Community for Entrepreneurship, ACE, to strengthen startups' access to smart financing and global networks. This included supporting the launch of ACE International Center, which provides a landing pad for global startups and helps local startups to scale up and internationalize. JTC has also developed launchpads at One North and Jurong Innovation District, JID, which offers a range of spaces for startups to operate and test-bed their ideas. More importantly, launchpads serve as hubs to connect entrepreneurs with accelerators, incubators, venture capitalists, and fellow entrepreneurs in related fields. This creates opportunities for knowledge sharing, collaboration, and growth. At JTC Launchpad at JID, JTC will work with partners to provide a one-stop prototyping center where deep tech startups can leverage shared equipment for small batch production. Spring will also be launching the Startup SG network later this year. The SSG network will be a one-stop database of information as well as an e-community of startups and ecosystem players. This will support networking and facilitate business matching for startups. With the establishment of Enterprise Singapore ESG in April this year, startups will be able to leverage ESG's international network of offices and in-market partners to scale up and expand into new overseas markets. ESG will advise startups on capability development and internationalization while providing them with integrated support through the schemes that were previously under Spring and IE Singapore. As the Minister for Industry, Mr. S. Iswaran, had earlier highlighted, the government is adapting to better serve the needs of industry in Singapore's new economic environment. As part of this, government will restructure the Competition Commission of Singapore, or CCS, in April 2018 to take over Spring's current role as the administering agency for the Consumer Protection Fair Trading Act, or CPFTA. Besides the CPFTA, CCS will continue its current mandate of administering the Competition Act. To reflect its new role, CCS will be renamed as the Competition and Consumer Commission of Singapore, or CCCS. I would now like to address Mr. Lim Biao Chuan's question about consumer protection for online transactions, specifically his suggestions to restrict the use of mandatory arbitration clauses in standard terms and conditions and pre-tick boxes for additional goods and services. Now, the CPFTA protects consumers against errant retailers which engage in unfair trading practices, regardless of whether these transactions take place online or offline. The Act provides for civil actions to be taken by consumers and by specified bodies against retailers that persist in unfair trading practices. The government adopts a balanced approach of supporting a pro-enterprise environment while at the same time protecting consumers. In line with the principle of freedom of contract, businesses are free to enter into consumer contracts as long as it is mutually agreed to by the contracting parties. Businesses and consumers should be alert to the clauses and conditions of any contract they enter into, including the fine print. Consumers should also take steps to protect themselves before making their purchases. This could include checking reviews on the reputation of retailers, as well as their refund policies and mechanisms. Practices such as using small print to conceal or mislead consumers on a material fact in relation to the transaction can be considered as unfair practices under the CPFTA. We note Mr. Lim's suggestions on arbitration clauses and pre-tick boxes. The government will study them and take them into account when we next review the relevant consumer protection legislations. We will continue to monitor the situation and take appropriate actions if necessary. As I have elaborated in my speech, the government has in place extensive support structures and initiatives to support our SMEs and startups on their transformation journey. What remains is for companies to step up and make the right investments today to seize new growth opportunities, not just for themselves, but also for a better future for all of us. Thank you.